The OpenAI trial pitting tech giants Elon Musk against Sam Altman began its second week with testimony from OpenAI President Greg Brockman and scrutiny of an email from Elon Musk. Now, according to court documents, Musk sent the email to Brockman 2 days before the start of the trial to ask about settling the case. Now, when Brockman declined, Musk reportedly wrote, quote, "By the end of the week, you and Sam will be the most hated men in America." I want to bring in New York Times tech reporter Mike Isaac, who's been following the trial for us. Mike, what role is this email playing in this trial now?
So I think it's going to mostly play a role in the court of public opinion right now, only because it was filed this morning by OpenAI's counsel. And they're trying to get it in just to show that Musk has been pretty hostile and, somewhat vindictive. What they're trying to portray is a vindictive person who's competing against their business. The judge actually said that OpenAI can't have that admitted into evidence for the jury to see because they did it too late and it should have happened with Elon's testimony. That said, OpenAI still wants to win this case in the eyes of the public because they're trying to essentially, win people over and show that AI is not as bad as everyone seems to think it is these days. So it did go pretty wide pretty quickly today, and I think it was probably helpful to them in just showing, hey, this is a competitor trying to take us down a notch, basically.
Yeah, and today it was interesting in court. Sam Brockman, who's the president of OpenAI, took the stand, and he's been with the company since the beginning with Musk and Altman, back when they were buddies. So what stood out to you from his testimony today?
Yeah, so Brockman's, as you said, Brockman's been there since the beginning, and it is Elon's counsel's side to call their witnesses. So it's basically been a morning of Elon's lawyers questioning Brockman. And they have tried to paint a picture of Greg Brockman creating this business to enrich himself. They spent a lot of time talking about companies that OpenAI was doing deals with, that Greg Brockman was also an investor in, to sort of show, hey, it makes him richer when he uses this business to get money into a different business that he also makes money on. They also tried to delve into, how much money Greg was making on being a huge sort of equity owner in OpenAI, which is in the, multiple billions of dollars. So the idea for Musk's counsel is essentially to say, this is not about someone who wants to save humanity or create good AI for the world, but to essentially turn this originally nonprofit entity into a business that can enrich himself to a huge degree.
And to a huge degree. Can you tell me that number of how much he is set to gain from OpenAI? It's hundreds of billions, right?
I was going to say it's definitely in the hundred. It's huge, and it seems to change by the day as they raise more and more money in the future.
Sure. Seems like the ceiling there is no ceiling to the amount of money with this company. Okay, I want to pivot to a New Mexico case where the state is suing Meta, claiming that the tech giant is a public nuisance because it misrepresented the safety of Facebook and Instagram to young users. And Meta may be forced to make some major changes if they lose this lawsuit. How big of an impact could this have on their platforms?
Yeah, so this is a super interesting case. I think it's one of many also that are going after child safety issues with Meta right now. Some of the, requests from the plaintiffs are pretty intense that cut to the heart of how Meta's business operates, including changing the type of content that the company is allowed to show children to be, more quote unquote quality content rather than what some might see as addictive content or inflammatory things that can harm children in their eyes, or even ending the infinite scroll quality, the idea that, no matter how long you scroll on your phone to see the news feed, you're never going to stop seeing content. The idea being that these are apps that are designed to keep kids or people in general coming back to them and staying in them. And the plaintiffs believe that this is addictive and harmful behavior, and the entire structure of how Facebook and Instagram operates needs to be changed.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if it does have to change, what that would even look like, if they would put age restrictions or ban it altogether like they tried to do in Australia.
That's right. I think there's a variety of different tactics that plaintiffs across the country are using to come at the company. You know, a lot of people do believe that if you're under the age of 18, you should not be allowed to use social media in general, not even just Instagram or Facebook. It might just be certain, areas of the country or even areas of the world are not able to use it. There's a fight right now, New Mexico in particular. Facebook is saying, sorry, Meta is saying that they may stop serving some of their apps there if they can't come to an agreement, which is something they've done in other countries and continents like Australia. So it's going to be a knockdown, drag out fight, I think. And Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg in particular, knows that this is pretty existential for how his apps operate on a fundamental level.
Sure, it's all about the algorithm. All right, Mike Isaac, great to see you. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me. Thanks a lot.